All right, so get ready because today we are going deep, deep into Think and Grow Rich,
Oh, yeah.
a book that has pretty much been the foundation of self-help for like almost a whole century now.
That's right.
It's kind of crazy to think that the author, what was his name? Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill. He based this whole book on insights from Andrew Carnegie,
Right.
the steel tycoon. And then, like, he actually went out and tested these ideas, right, with thousands of people who were already successful in, like, all these different fields.
Yeah. I think what's so fascinating about this book is that Carnegie didn't just, like, hoard this knowledge. He really wanted to share it.
Yeah.
Like, he genuinely believed that anyone could achieve success.
And that's what makes Think and Grow Rich so much more than just some get-rich-quick thing.
Right.
It's really about understanding how powerful your own mind is. Like, your mind can achieve anything you set your sights on.
And you really see that in the story of Edwin Barnes.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about him.
Well, he goes from, like, practically broke
Bro.
to becoming, like, a key business partner of Thomas Edison.
Get out of here.
And, like, all because of this burning desire, right, to
Yeah.
work with Edison. Not even for him, with him.
That's a big distinction.
It is.
To collaborate.
Yeah. And it wasn't some, like, whim. Barnes was persistent.
Yeah.
Like, traveled to Orange, New Jersey
Wow.
with very little money, no
Mhm.
guarantee of a job. And he just refused to leave until he got that chance.
He was all in.
That's what Think and Grow Rich calls burning bridges. That's that total commitment to that goal
Yeah.
where there's no other option but to succeed. Like, you've burnt the bridge behind you.
Wow.
There's no going back.
I love that.
And Hill uses the example of Marshall Field
Oh, yeah.
rebuilding his store after that great Chicago fire to, like, really drive that point home.
Right.
It's that unwavering commitment to your vision that the book really argues is, like, the most crucial.
Wow.
It's fascinating, too, how that connects to another story. The one about Darby,
Okay. Derby.
who almost struck gold,
Right.
but he gave up digging just 3 feet from a rich vein. He gave up too early.
Oh, man.
And then there's that part where he gets outsmarted by a young black girl.
Okay.
And that forces him to realize he needs to understand this, what he calls strange power she has.
Interesting.
And both of those experiences teach him that setbacks are actually opportunities.
Ah?
They're opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
And that's a recurring theme in Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah.
That success often comes after, like, a string of failures.
Well, yeah.
And how you learn from them, right?
Right. Right.
And adapt and keep going.
Yeah.
That's what really matters.
That totally ties into the overarching message of this book,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Understanding and applying certain principles
Yes.
to achieve success. It's not about, like, luck or being in the right place at the right time or circumstance.
No.
It's about mastering your mindset and using the right tools.
Yeah. And speaking of tools,
Oh, yeah, the tool.
Hill keeps hinting at this, like, secret formula
Oh, yeah.
that led all these different people to wild success.
That kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time I was reading this book. I was like, what is the secret formula?
I know. He never really fully reveals it, but he does show how it works.
Yeah.
Like, with different people in all sorts of fields.
Oh, yeah.
Like, take Charles M. Schwab, for example.
Okay.
He used it to help create U.S. Steel
Really?
and, like, amassed this fortune that would be worth, like, $600 million today.
Out here.
$600 million.
Wow.
And then you have Arthur Nash,
Oh, okay. Arthur Nash.
who was a tailor, like, on the brink of bankruptcy.
Oh, no.
And he uses this formula
Wow.
to completely turn his business around.
Good for him.
And then there's Stuart Austin Weir,
Okay.
who used it to, like, switch careers entirely and become a successful lawyer.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And Jennings Randolph,
Okay.
right out of college,
Oh, wait.
leveraged this formula to have a crazy successful career in politics.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
I remember, what was his name? J.G. Chaplin?
Yes. J.G. Chaplin.
President of LaSalle Extension University.
Yes.
He turned that into, like, the leading school
The leading extension school, yeah.
by applying the same principles.
It's crazy.
It's really interesting to me that Think and Grow Rich, like, it challenges how we think about education, right?
Mhm.
It basically says that going to school, that formal schooling,
Right.
that's just the start.
That's just the beginning.
Real education happens when you're continuously learning and you're getting real-world experience.
Like John Wanamaker,
Oh, yeah.
who, how does he put it?
I don't remember.
Scooped up knowledge like a locomotive takes on water.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Henry Ford,
Oh, yeah, Henry Ford.
who, like, became hugely successful, even though he didn't have much formal education at all.
It's about that specialized knowledge.
Right.
Practical knowledge that you get through experience.
Yeah. That's what fuels success.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not just about having a lot of knowledge, right?
No.
It's about like how you organize it and apply it.
Yes.
I remember the book talks about Henry Ford's libel lawsuit
Oh, right.
against a newspaper that called him an ignorant pacifist.
Yeah.
And despite his lack of formal education, right?
Yeah.
Ford was amazing at organizing all the knowledge he had about cars.
Yes.
And that actually helped him win that case.
Right, because it's about having a system, a framework for taking, and turning that into, like, actions towards a specific goal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like having all the tools, right.
Right.
But knowing which one to use for the job.
So, okay, so we've talked about desire, persistence,
yes,
organized knowledge.
Yeah.
Where does imagination fit in?
Ooh, imagination is huge.
Okay.
It's at the very core of Think and Grow Rich.
Hill calls it the workshop of the mind. It's where desires take shape.
I see.
And ideas are born.
And he makes this distinction between synthetic imagination and creative imagination.
Right. And synthetic imagination is about combining ideas that already exist.
Right.
And creative imagination is about generating totally new ones.
So, like, they both work together.
Yeah, it's like having two engines.
Yeah.
Synthetic imagination lets you build on what's already there.
Yeah.
Creative imagination breaks new ground.
Right.
That's where the innovation comes from.
And they're both super important for achieving success.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They work together to make your desires a reality.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I remember, what was it, the
mastermind.
The mastermind.
Yeah.
Explain that one to me.
Mastermind is all about collaboration.
Okay.
It's like you don't have to do everything yourself.
Okay.
Like surround yourself with amazing people who share your vision.
Right.
And then you create this energy, right?
Yeah.
Where the whole becomes greater than its parts.
That's awesome.
And Hill uses Henry Ford's relationships as an example.
Oh, yeah.
Like Thomas Edison.
Right.
Harvey Firestone.
Yeah.
John Burroughs.
Okay.
Luther Burbank.
All those guys.
All these brilliant minds. And Ford totally got it. He knew that connecting with these guys would give him access to knowledge, experience, support.
Wow.
That's what propelled him.
Amazing. It's like leveraging a whole group of experts.
It is.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, but even with all that, right? Even with the right tools, the right strategies, fear can still stop us.
Yeah, fear is huge.
Fear is huge. And Hill names 6 big ones.
Okay.
That can stop us in our tracks.
Okay, hit me.
Poverty.
Okay.
Criticism.
Okay.
Ill health.
Yeah.
Loss of love.
Okay.
Old age.
Yeah.
And death.
Yep.
And all these fears, he says, come from negative thoughts.
Right.
And not making decisions.
Right, indecision.
And they stop us from taking action.
Wow.
And going after our dreams.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So how do we fight back against fear?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next.
Awesome, I can't wait.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
It is.
I'm learning a lot.
Me too.
Okay, so we're back, and we're continuing this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. I'm really fascinated by that secret formula. All those little clues Hill keeps dropping.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like he's giving us pieces of a treasure map, you know? But we have to do the digging to find the real riches.
Exactly. And one of those tools he gives us, it's called autosuggestion.
Okay. Autosuggestion.
It's this process where you, like, plant a thought, a belief into your subconscious mind.
Okay.
You keep nurturing it, right?
Right.
Until it becomes reality.
It sounds almost like magic.
It does, but when you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like, if you keep feeding your mind an idea over and over, it's going to take root at some point.
Right. It's going to grow.
It's going to grow.
So what is Hill saying? Like, how do we actually, use this tool?
So Hill's saying the subconscious mind, it's really open to suggestion.
Okay.
Especially when those suggestions, like, have a strong emotion attached to them.
Right.
And he gives this really specific formula for using autosuggestion to reach your goals.
All right. I'm all ears.
So first, you got to figure out your, like, definite purpose.
Okay. Definite purpose.
It's got to be, like, crystal clear, no ambiguity.
So, like, no being wishy-washy about it.
Exactly. No wishy-washiness allowed.
Okay.
It's got to be specific. So let's say your definite purpose is to, I don't know, learn a new language.
Okay. Learn a new language. I like that.
Okay. So then what you do is you create a statement that says you want this, but phrased like you've already achieved it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you would write, I am fluent in whatever language you're learning. I am fluent in Spanish.
Exactly.
And then I just keep repeating that to myself.
You got it. Hill says, write it down.
Yeah.
Read it out loud twice a day,
Okay.
Once in the morning, once at night.
Yeah.
But it's not just reading, right?
Right.
It's got to be like you really feel it.
Put some emotion behind it.
Put emotion, conviction, like you truly believe it.
It reminds me of when actors talk about getting into character.
Yeah.
They really have to embody the role, right?
Yes.
To make it believable.
That's a perfect analogy.
That's cool.
And Hill talks about faith.
Okay.
Right? He calls it the eternal elixir.
Ooh.
That gives life and power to thought. It's that unshakable belief that you can do this no matter what.
That reminds me of that story Hill tells about how U.S. Steel was formed.
Oh, yes.
With Charles M. Schwab.
Yeah.
He really applied this secret formula.
He did.
Including faith.
And it led him to incredible success.
Insane wealth.
It just shows that when you combine a clear vision with total belief, you can do impossible things.
That's amazing.
And Hill goes on to describe the subconscious mind as a chemical laboratory.
Okay, a chemical laboratory.
It takes our thoughts and makes them reality.
Whoa, so that means if we're always thinking negatively, if we're feeding our subconscious with doubts, with fears, is that what it's going to produce?
It is. The subconscious, it doesn't know the difference between good thoughts and bad thoughts.
I see.
It just works with what you give it.
Right. It's just taking the ingredients.
This is like cooking.
And making something.
Yeah.
And he even has this kind of scary story.
Like that?
About, what was his name? Joseph Grant.
Joseph Grant, yeah.
The bank official.
Right.
Who embezzled money and then basically thought himself to death.
Yeah, the guilt, the fear just consumed him.
It's a powerful example of how powerful our thoughts are.
It really is.
Yeah.
And Hill really emphasizes, be mindful of your thoughts. It's be mindful of the food you eat.
Yeah.
You got to be mindful of the thoughts you think.
It's like gardening, right?
Exactly.
If you plant bad seeds, you're going to get weeds.
Yeah, but if you plant good seeds, you
get a beautiful garden.
A beautiful garden full of abundance.
Wow. I like that.
And another thing Hill says is that the subconscious, it responds better to thoughts with emotion.
Oh, interesting.
It's not enough to just think about what you want logically.
Okay.
You got to feel it.
So it's not enough to just think, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
I got to feel the excitement of actually writing it.
Yes. You have to feel the passion.
Yeah.
The joy.
Really feel it.
Really feel it.
And that's why, powerful emotions, right? Faith, love.
Yeah.
Even, sex.
Yes.
Those are so strong because they amplify our thoughts.
Yeah. And Hill goes into this, kind of a controversial idea called sex transmutation.
Okay, sex transmutation.
It's about harnessing that energy.
Okay.
That sexual energy.
Yeah.
And redirecting it.
Oh.
To fuel your creative pursuits.
Oh, interesting.
Not suppressing it.
Right.
But channeling it.
Channeling it into something else.
Yes, into something constructive.
Okay.
Something that helps you reach your goals.
I remember he even says that, some of the greatest achievers in history, artists, inventors, entrepreneurs, leaders, they had really strong sex drives.
Yeah.
But they mastered this transmutation.
It makes you wonder, right?
It does.
Is there a connection?
Yeah.
Between all that energy
right.
and being able to create, to innovate, to achieve big things?
Hill's suggesting that if you can transmute that sexual energy,
right,
you can stimulate your mind.
Yeah.
Tap into a whole new level of creativity.
It's fascinating.
It reminds me of that story about the old country doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Who sold the magic kettle.
Yes.
And it wasn't really about the kettle, right? It was the idea.
It's about recognizing that even ordinary things can become extraordinary.
Yeah.
When you believe in them.
That's cool.
Yeah. And there's another story.
Okay.
About Dr. Frank Gonzalez.
Okay, Dr. Frank Gonzalez.
He imagined giving this sermon.
Okay.
Called What I Would Do If I Had $1 Million.
And he got $1 million.
Well, not right away, but he focused his energy on it.
Okay.
And eventually it came true.
That's wild.
It is.
I love these stories.
They're inspiring, right?
They are.
But they also show that you got to have a plan.
A plan.
Yeah. You can't just daydream. You got to have a strategy.
All right.
To get from that dream to reality.
So Hill's talking about organized planning.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's essential for making your dreams real.
And he gives like a formula for that too, right?
Yeah, he does. A 6-step formula.
Hit me with it.
Define your desire. Set a deadline. Make a plan. And, of course, have faith.
Okay, so it's like having a blueprint.
It is.
For success.
It's like, okay, here are the steps to get to where I want to be.
I love it.
And once you have that blueprint, you got to start building.
So action, taking action.
Action is everything.
Bill emphasizes that, right?
He does. He says, take action, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it.
Even when there are obstacles.
Exactly. You got to have that I will not be denied attitude, that unwavering commitment.
To seeing your vision through.
Hill tells the story of Darby again, you know.
Oh, yeah, Darby.
Who learns about persistence after almost striking gold.
Yeah.
And there's James J. Hill, who built a railroad empire.
Wow.
Faced tons of setbacks.
But never gave up.
Never gave up. And those stories remind us, you know, success, it's rarely easy.
There are going to be bumps in the road.
Bumps, detours, you name it.
But it's about resilience.
Yes.
Keeping going, learning from your mistakes, and never losing sight of your goal.
Hill says, the only real defeat is quitting.
Wow, that's powerful.
When you give up on your dreams, that's defeat.
And we got to remember those 6 fears that Hill talks about.
Oh, those are the real dream killers.
Poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
And they show up in all these sneaky ways.
Right, like procrastination.
Procrastination, yeah. Self-sabotage, not taking risks, staying stuck.
They keep us small.
They keep us playing small.
So how do we beat them?
Hill says, make decisions.
Okay, decision.
Indecision, that's where fear thrives.
Oh, I see.
The longer you wait, the stronger fear gets.
But when we decide, we break that cycle.
We break the cycle and we move.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
It is.
The anticipation is worse than the actual pain.
Exactly. And you got to replace those negative thoughts.
With positive ones.
With positive ones. Fill your mind with good stuff.
Like
affirmations, inspiring stories. Surround yourself with good people.
Like a support system.
Yeah, a support system. People who lift you up.
I think that's so important.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Because we tend to, underestimate how much our own thoughts affect us.
If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, you're going to believe it.
And Hill says, face your fears head on.
Ooh, okay.
The more you get to know them,
the
less scary they become.
So it's about acknowledging them.
Yeah.
Understanding them.
Yeah.
And then taking action anyway.
Even if you're scared.
Yeah.
Because when you conquer fear,
like that happens,
you unlock this power inside you.
That's amazing.
You free yourself.
I love it.
This whole conversation about fear reminds me of Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson.
Oh, yeah, their love story.
It's such a great example of choosing love over fear.
Yeah, they defied everyone's expectations.
They did. They followed their hearts.
Even though it meant facing a ton of criticism.
And making hard choices.
They chose love even though it meant giving up power.
It's like they showed us that we can choose what really matters.
That's really inspiring.
It is.
So how do we actually, put Hill's advice into practice?
He says, be decisive.
Okay.
Make a choice. So, to conquer the fear of poverty, he says, decide to be content with what you have.
Okay, that's a big one.
It is. To silence the fear of criticism, decide not to care what people think.
Right.
To overcome the fear of losing love, decide to be happy on your own.
What about the fear of getting old?
Embrace it. Decide to see it as wisdom.
Okay.
And the fear of getting sick. Focus on feeling good.
And the fear of dying.
Accept it as a part of life.
Wow, those are some powerful suggestions.
They are, but they all come down to one thing.
What's that?
Shifting your mindset.
Okay.
Choosing to focus on what you want, not on what you're afraid of.
That's so powerful.
And when you do that, you find peace, happiness, fulfillment.
Okay, so we're back, and I got to ask you about this devil's workshop thing.
Oh, yeah.
That Hill keeps bringing up. It sounds kind of scary. What exactly is it?
It's not like an actual place. It's more of a metaphor.
Okay.
For a state of mind.
The state of mind.
Where all the negativity creeps in, fears, doubts, those kinds of thoughts.
So it's where all the self-sabotage happens.
Exactly. And Hill's saying that if we're not careful, those thoughts can take over.
And ruin our chances of success.
Yeah. So we got to be proactive.
Okay, how do we do that?
By cultivating a positive mental attitude. Being aware of our thoughts, challenging the negative ones.
So not just ignoring them.
No, more like replacing them.
Yeah.
with positive, empowering beliefs.
Okay, so instead of saying, I can't do this, I'd say, I can do this.
Exactly. You got to fill your mind with good stuff.
Like what kind of stuff?
Inspiring stories, uplifting ideas, even affirmations.
Oh, right, like with auto-suggestion.
Exactly. By repeating those affirmations, you're reprogramming your subconscious.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. But what about the negativity that comes from outside of us?
Yeah, like other people.
Hill's big on choosing your company wisely.
Oh, right, your circle of influence.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you.
Build a positive support system.
Yeah, people who challenge you to grow.
I think that's so important.
It is. And just as important is distancing yourself from the people who drain you.
The energy vampires.
The energy vampires. The ones who plant seeds of doubt.
So setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries. Protecting your mental space. Because you have the power to choose who influences you.
That's so true.
And, it's not enough to just think positively and have a good support system.
Okay, what else do we need?
We need a plan.
Oh, right. Organized planning.
Exactly. Hill says it's crucial for making dreams a reality.
Taking those ideas and making them happen.
Yeah, he gives that 6-step formula.
Define the desire, set the deadline, make a detailed plan, and have faith.
You got it. It's like a roadmap to success.
And once you have the roadmap, you got to start driving.
Take action, even when it's tough.
Even when you don't feel like it, even when there are obstacles.
That's where that I will not be denied attitude comes in. Hill says true defeat is giving up.
When you quit on your dreams.
Exactly. He uses those stories,
Like Darby and James J. Hill.
to remind us that success isn't always easy. There will be setbacks.
But it's about getting back up.
And learning from those setbacks. Adapting your approach, but never losing sight of the goal.
And Hill also talks about the power of collaboration, right?
A mastermind.
The mastermind.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who share your vision.
Like a team of experts.
Exactly. And he uses Henry Ford as an example.
With Thomas Edison and all those guys.
Yeah, Ford was smart. He knew that connecting with those brilliant minds would help him reach his goals.
It's like we can achieve so much more together.
Absolutely. And Hill also recognizes the importance of love and relationships.
He says there's a great woman behind every great man.
Yeah, and he's not just talking about romantic love. It's about having those connections that support you, that inspire you.
And Think and Grow Rich, it really does give you a complete roadmap to unlocking your potential.
It does. It teaches you how to overcome obstacles, how to create a life of abundance, and ultimately it's about understanding that the power to achieve greatness is within each of us.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We talked about desire, persistence, planning, the power of the subconscious mind, overcoming fear, building a positive mindset. It's all in there.
It all comes down to taking control of your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and never giving up on your dreams.
That's such a great message. Well, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep reaching for those dreams. Until next time.